Why, hello there. Do you own or manage a roofing business? If you do, would it be okay if I asked you a question? Okay, thanks. My question is, what would scaling your operation faster actually look like for you? Is it adding a new install or tear-off crew, or both? Or is it maybe upgrading your trucks and equipment? Perhaps it's locking down a commercial space to expand your footprint. Now, if you don't mind, let me ask you this. What's stopping you? Because if you're like most roofing business owners I talk to, you're doing good work, you have a steady client flow, and it's not like you don't have hustle. Can I ask you this though? When it comes to real, meaningful growth in your business, have you found that hard work alone is enough? Or does there come a point where additional capital is a key piece of the puzzle that is often frustratingly difficult to solve? And not just any capital, but the right kind, at the right time, with the right strategy. I'm Rodney Wood, your funding solutions guy. And this video is for roofing business owners who want to scale smarter, not harder. So don't worry, I'm not here to pitch you. In fact, I'm not here to sell you anything at all. Would it make sense to walk through what's actually working for other roofing companies? Especially if it could help you to stabilize and increase cash flow and build momentum? Would it be okay if I maybe asked you something else? If you had an extra $100K, $250K, $500K, even $1 or $2 million in the business account right now, how would that actually change things in your roofing business? Would it mean faster growth? More crews? Less financial pressure on your shoulders every day? Or maybe you'd finally stop juggling bills between deposits, material drops, and payroll. I ask because if you're in the roofing industry, you're already working hard. You're out there every day, bidding jobs, doing installs, and then you're chasing more jobs. But somehow, the rate of growth you're striving for, does it still seem to be staying just out of your reach? With all that in mind, may I ask you a few additional, perhaps uncomfortable but important questions? So you can finally get the clarity you've perhaps been looking for? For example, why is capital so hard to access when you're already producing revenue? And have you ever looked into funding and just felt like the lenders didn't get your business model? Like they were determined to fit your business into their box, telling you what you can't do instead of helping you figure out what you can? Well, you're not the only one. Most roofers I talk to say the same thing. So let's break this down. What would you do first if you had the capital you are looking for? Would you buy more equipment? Put a new team on the street? Or possibly take on the larger jobs you've been turning away? kind of projects or volume would be possible for your company if the financial backing was there to put the right systems, people, and equipment in place? And on the flip side, what's the real cost to your business if you keep turning down jobs, delaying hires, or holding off on equipment just because the capital isn't there yet? So what are your actual options? If you're still listening, you've probably been wondering when I was going to get to this part. Have you ever had a job lined up, maybe even a big one, but found yourself stuck because materials needed to be paid for up front, payroll was due, and you had to float the project before the money came in? In cases like these, revenue-based working capital, or perhaps a short-term bridge loan, could put cash in your business account within 24 to 48 hours. With no long underwriting process, no personal judgment, just liquidity when you need it. But please hear me clearly. Fast money is a tool with a cost. It's not a fix-all. There are right ways to use it, and there are also even more wrong ways to use it. The right tool in the right hands builds an empire. In the wrong hands, well, it just digs a deeper hole. That's why here at Oasis, we don't just fund and run. Instead, we show you how to use it strategically, so you're not back in the same situation 6 months from now. Or in your case, maybe cash crunches are not an issue. Are you perhaps at a point where it's not about survival anymore, but instead, it's about how to grow faster without stretching yourself too thin? What would it change in your business if the capital you accessed actually worked with your growth strategy instead of against it? That opens up a completely different set of options. Would you be opposed to exploring those options? A term loan is a bankable option that can have reasonable rates with affordable payments. Equipment financing can also be longer term with payments that fit within your budget. We are also partnered with preferred SBA lenders for SBA loans like the 7A or the 504 or the 7A Express, for long-term expansion, real estate, or mergers and acquisitions of your competitors, perhaps. And contrary to what some people think, SBA loans are not just for big or giant companies. If you've got 2 years in business and decent credit, you might qualify and not even know it. Would it help if we walked you through what's actually possible for your business right now? And looked at the steps that could get you where you want to go next? That way, even if you don't qualify for some reason today, you can still walk away with a clear roadmap for how to get there without guessing? Does it make sense to you that we should maybe look at your numbers together first and then possibly talk about what actually makes sense based on where you're at right now? At Oasis Funding Network, we're not a lender, and our business model is not to squeeze as much profit as possible out of any one deal. Instead, we're your capital strategy team, and we work with over 100 funders and institutions. However, that said, even though we know a lot of lenders, we're not some mega broker. We don't blast your file out indiscriminately to every lender on the planet, like pretty much everyone else in the industry does. Instead, we operate from a client-first approach and work very hard to match you with the exact right product and lender based on your numbers, your goals, and your timeline. As I'm sure you will appreciate, we want as few people as possible seeing your info, and because of that, your information stays secure. Your phone won't be blowing up. And if we come across a deal for you somewhere that's better than what our lenders can offer, we'll tell you about that too. Does it make sense to you that when you have the full truth about your funding options, that it's a lot easier to make confident decisions without feeling pressured? Do you possibly own commercial property? Would you be open to exploring ways to unlock any equity you might have in it if it would benefit your business? If your roofing company owns commercial property like a building, a shop, a warehouse, or office space, then you've got assets that can maybe be used to unlock even more potential. Okay, with all that said, let's wrap things up for now. I know that you didn't need me to explain because you are already very familiar with all the reasons why roofing companies often hit invisible walls when trying to grow. We also covered that there are ways that anywhere from $10,000 to $2 million in working capital can be in your account as fast as 1 to 7 days. You saw how SBA loans like the 7A and 504 could be game changers. We explored how to leverage equipment financing and commercial property. And you learned why we protect your privacy and your strategy like it's our own. If all you did was have one conversation, and that conversation started the process of you getting complete clarity on what's actually possible for your roofing business, wouldn't that be worth 15 to 30 minutes of your time? No pressure, no pitch, just the facts from someone who's actually in your corner? Would you agree that this might possibly be worth the effort of sending just one text message to get the ball rolling? Send the text now to 541-236-2930. Or click the link in the description or the comments to book a zero pressure, no sales, simple conversation. A conversation that can't hurt you and in fact can only help you. Has anyone ever shown you just how close you might already be to unlocking the funding your business needs? I'm Rodney Wood, your funding solutions guy, and you're probably closer to business funding than you think.